Hello and welcome to another edition of the GetGrowing weekly work session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of GetOiling, Greg Kilwine.
Hello, everybody. We're glad you're here today.
Hey, we're excited to have you. And we also are excited to have Julie and Colin from our team with us. Hey, guys.
Hello.
How's it going, everyone?
We're thrilled to have you here today. We are going to be talking about a tool that is hidden inside of your GetOiling system that can really do a lot of heavy lifting for you as you grow your Young Living business. I sent an email out. If you aren't on our email list yet for our weekly work sessions, make sure you sign up, getoiling.com/weekly work session. I sent out an email earlier this week talking about one of those, have you ever heard the phrase, I was today years old when, right? I had one of those moments once when I was scrolling through an article and I found out about these this hidden function of a pasta spoon, right? It's this ladle with teeth on the end of it so that you can pick up pasta out of a pot, right? Well, it has a hole in the middle and one would think that's just to drain water. But as it turns out, you could take a handful of spaghetti and if it fits through that hole, it's a serving of pasta. So at that point, I was today years old when I learned that. And you're going to be today years old when you learn about some of these cool things that you can do using the progress tracker in GetOiling. So as you're coming in, let us know where in the world you are and what you are hoping to improve in your business this week. We're excited to have you here. We do host these calls every single week at noon Eastern, except for the week that we are at convention, which I hope you will be at this year. You'll see me and Julie here on the call will be there as well. And as well as Jessica from our team, one of our Jessicas will be there so you can come and meet us. We will be at Aroma Sharing and I hope that you will be there too. So let's go ahead and get into it, you guys. Let us know where in the world you are. I hope you are safe, healthy and happy, and that you've got great weather wherever you are. We're going to go ahead and hop out a video so that we can get into our slides. This is going to be a relatively quick overview today of this, but I want to keep a lot of space open for us to discuss what you can do with this and explore different ways that that can be done. So far, I see we are in Panama, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Arizona, upstate New York. Oof, yeah, I hear you. The Canadian wildfire, we had those here in New York City. The smoke was, it looked like we were on Mars last week. So welcome, Virginia. We also have North Dakota, Florida, British Columbia, Canada, and of course, New York City here on the call as well. We're excited to have you as always. So today we're going to talk about how you can use the progress tracker and GetOiling to enroll more customers and to keep more customers and move more and keep them onto loyalty rewards, onto subscription with Young Living. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to use the GetOiling Progress Tracker and use it to get more customers and help them build those product habits that keep them customers and keep them on loyalty. And of course, we do have plenty of space today for live help and Q&A. So if you are here today looking for help or guidance on something that you're working on, or maybe you're just getting your footing with all of this, or you're wanting to maybe reinvent or reorient yourself and how you grow your Young Living business, we're here for you. This is a live work session that we host every week that allows you the opportunity to not just learn something new, but to get into action and move past any blocks that you may have in your business. So please make sure you add any questions that you have to the Q&A. If it's something that we can address live on this call, then we may even have an opportunity at the close to go over that on video or to bring you out to chat. So please do add those questions. If you want to join our list, as I mentioned earlier, you want to get the emails that we send out, go to getoiling.com/weekly work session. You'll be the first to know about the trainings that we host every week, new opportunities for you to learn, done for you resources, and more. And if you'd like to work together on a live call like this one, if you'd like to set aside a fair amount of time, it could be as much as 15 minutes, depending on the project. We could even dedicate an entire call to what you're working on. You can go to getoiling.com/website review. This is a free opportunity for you as a member of our community to get one-on-one support on your strategy and everything else related to how you're using your GetOiling system to grow your Young Living business. So take advantage of this if you haven't already. We look forward to working with you on one of these upcoming calls. And if you want a hand getting things done, if you are in the process process of working on your GetOiling system, and you're just recognizing that some things are outside of your zone of genius and you'd like to hire someone with a zone of genius you can go to getoiling.com/concierge to learn more about our team and some of the incredible things that they can do for you. So what I want to show you here and what we're going to be talking about here today is the progress tracker, right? So this is something that you're going to find in your contacts inside of your GetOiling system. So if you're new to GetOiling and you haven't uploaded your virtual office file from Young Living to start contacting your people, you could start playing around with this by simply creating a new contact for yourself, which is what I've done here. And you can begin sort of playing around with some of these features so that you can acquaint yourself to the system. So you can see here on a contact card, there are a lot of different things, and some of which you can't even see here in this screenshot. From your contact card, you can email, you can text, you can send the information directly to your device. You can send an in-app notification, or you can apply an automation. That's these buttons up at the top here on the left-hand side on the contact card. You can, of course, also get a quick glance at the contact information for your people. You can see to-dos, you can see the actions that have happened in the past. But if you scroll down here to the bottom, you see contact progress. Now, contact progress here is a place where you can record metrics and goals as well as timelines. And you can do this using text or number-based information. So what this can look like is you tracking metrics that matter. So the example that I'm sharing with you here is that, assuming this contact Ashley is a customer of yours, you're on a mission with this new customer to make sure that they build product habits so that they find their hero product. And of course, once somebody has found their hero product, they're never leaving Young Living, right? And of course, they're going to be more interested in incorporating more products into their routine. If you want to learn more about the hero product journey and how you can help someone get there, we do have a complete in-depth full training inside of your system that you should definitely check out. It's called the Marketing Mastery Workshop. If you are a GetOiling member, you do have access to that. So if you want to learn more about the sort of mindsets and how you move them there, that is something that we do offer to you here. And I hope you take advantage of it. But some of the things that you're going to be doing if you are on that journey toward helping someone discover their hero product is you're going to be having care calls. Right? Getting someone signed up is not the end of the road. Having someone purchase their kit or their first product is not the end of your work with a new Young Living customer, right? So we're going to have care calls. And as you see here, we're tracking these metrics over the month. So if she signed up in April, for instance, we had a care call, and I've actually, because I had a call with her and I helped her set up her first order, I know that she's got Ningxia Red. Maybe she got the Ningxia Red starter kit. She did also get Sleep Essence and Lavender at my recommendation because she's struggling with sleep and stress. And so I recommended those things as add-ons alongside the Ningxia Red because I know she needs those antioxidants to help her get back to a good, healthy operating level, right? So I'm tracking how many calls a month do I have with her, when I catch up with her, what products is she using? Of course, elsewhere on our contact card, we may do more in-depth note taking on how different things are working for her, specific things that she's saying and how she's using product. You might want to put that somewhere else on the contact card. This is really more about specific metric tracking. So what you may actually be able to start noticing here in the data that you're collecting, for instance, is if she is tracking using maybe a free sleep tracking app with a wearable device, she can track the average number of sleep she's getting per night over the course of a month, right? So if she did that in the month of April, she was averaging about 6.5 hours of sleep. Maybe if you're using, again, if you're going to use sleep as a metric here, you may use sleep quality as it is measured by one of those tracking apps, and you can measure that here as well. So what we're doing is we're actually creating an instance where we can say, okay, here's what we're using. And here is our goal. In her case, her goal is to get up to a solid good 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep per night so that she starts feeling better, her system can start to heal, and she can start get back to feeling normal, right? So in order to do that, we need to change some routines. Obviously, we're going to be using some supplements, but we want to make sure that what we're doing is working. So that's why we're actually tracking these things. So you can see that in April, her average was 6.5. She was using Ningxia Red, Sleep Essence, and Lavender, but maybe in May, she started using Rudavela, and look, it actually went up a little bit, right? Her sleep went from 6.5 to 6.8. Now, her daily stress level that she was maybe quantifying in a journal or something like that, with 10 being the worst and 1 being the best, she was pretty high up there in April, but that has plummeted to 7.5 in May. What are we doing differently? We're using Rudavela. Now you can actually see, right? It's pretty cool. So you can actually go in and measure and track these things inside of your system on the contact card, okay? So you can, and this is where it gets really powerful if you are maybe using this with a Young Living customer, or if you are a coach of some kind or a consultant, you can use this with clients. You can actually allow them to see their progress as they're working with you. So if you have a member area that your contact or your customer is a part of, they can actually go click My Account inside of your member area, provided you have selected Contact May View, which is circled over here in red on the left. They can actually go in and see this. Pretty cool, right? So they can actually get a bird's eye view of what's going on based on what you're inputting from the calls that you're having together, right? And then even better, you can collaborate. So if your customer or client wants to add their own metrics into the system, so they can tell you this week, because it doesn't just have to be months, it could be week of, right? It could be days. There's so much you can track here, and for any amount of time that you wish, right? And you can continually add more. So your client is actually able to go in and make these changes themselves, again, by going to your member area where they are a member, clicking My Account, and then they can actually go to see My Progress. When they click the edit button, they can add their own information here if you wish, right? So there's so many different ways that you can use this, right? So, and this first instance is not one that is going to entail sharing with your customer the progress that you are tracking. So if this is somebody who is not yet a customer, they are a prospect, then you may want to be keeping track of how many times you've reached out to them per week, for instance, how many times you have invited them. If you have invited them to anything this month at all, you could get a snapshot view of that if you are tracking that in progress. Again, you're going to find a lot of the information about sort of what these metrics are that you should be tracking over time inside of the Marketing Mastery Workshop, which again is free to you as a GetOiling customer. But these are some of the things that you may want to track. So if you have someone who is in your pipeline and you have regular things that you would do with everyone who could become a Young Living customer of yours, you're going to be able to keep track of those important things. You can also track the path, like I just shared with you in some depth, from new customer to Young Living Loyalty Rewards member, right? So this is where you can be tracking based on your calls with them, how many calls you've had, what months you've had them, or what weeks you've had them, what products you know that they're using, and any metrics that they are wanting to track. And then if you have a brand partner, maybe this is somebody who found their hero product, they are in love with Young Living products and they are excited to share, you can be collaborating together on the number of invitations that they've made for someone to, to learn about Young Living, the number of events they've hosted, how many times they've shared Young Living this month, this week, etc. Right? So let's go take a look at this in action with some real use cases. And if you are interested in seeing some specific use cases, I want to invite you to head over into the chat and tell me what is something that you would be interested in trying to track with a customer, with a prospect, or with a brand partner, and we can go and take a look at what that'll look like for you to add into your GetOiling system on these contact cards together. And of course, we do have space here for our discussion, our live help, and Q&A as always on the call. So make sure if you have any questions that pertain to this or anything else, that you add those to the Q&A so that we don't miss them. So let's go. I have a screen share ready for you where you can actually see the contact card in GetOiling that I mentioned earlier. So, so here is the contact card here for Ashley. We've got our background information that I've put in over time. If she's opted into things or I've tagged her with things, those are all here, of course. You can see system activity, right? This is all stuff you can do on the contact card, but where we are focusing is right here, our contact progress. So you're going to see an empty field here when you get started. So if I go over here to edit, you'll see that I've got all of these, but let's just go ahead and start from scratch, right? So we're going to go ahead and just delete these guys. All right, deleted. Perfect. So we always start with the first thing, right? So first things first, Tina says, I think it would be good to track events that they attended. So we will say event attended. And then you could say a month, or you could say week of if you host a weekly event, right? So, but if you're hosting a monthly event, which I think is a pretty solid expectation for most of us, we can say, we'll take this back to maybe May of 2023, and this person did not attend an event in May of 2023, and this is a number, so number of times, right? Oh, so you do weekly Zoom calls. Perfect. All right, so then what we'll do here is I'll modify this, and we're going to say week of, week of June for 2023. And they did not attend that event. Here, let me actually delete my previous inputs here. That's from the one that I made before. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like with you, right? And so we're going to, let's just say if attending an event is the only thing that you have, that you're tracking at this point, let's go ahead and add another column here, and that's going to be for the following week. So that is the week of June 12th. And we will add that. And this time they did attend an event, right? And I'll save that. And you can see that there's nothing here. They didn't attend this one, but they did attend this one. So that is one way that you can do it. And of course, if you have other metrics that you want to track, we'll say, let's see, we'll say care call. So maybe you didn't have a care call this week, but you actually did have a one-on-one call with them last week. So we'll add that. And if we save that, then you can see that we are, oops, you know what I didn't do here? This value, I'm going to redo this because that needs to be, the value needs to be a number, right? So this is going to be care call. We did not have one this week, but we did have one last week. Add, save, and there you go. All right, Allison says, I would love to track everyday things too. Connection, like commenting on social for prospects, follow-ups, and inviting to events and one-on-ones. So I could see daily being a tiny bit tedious here on a contact by contact basis. You could certainly give yourself reminders. I think one of the best ways, if you have somebody that you really want to be following up with every day, is to actually click this contact rating right here and go right here to this reminder every 3 days. To just hop in and make sure that you are touching on that client or customer. But you could certainly do this daily if you wanted to, right? That is an option for what you place right here. So, but I would go with weekly. And so what we can do here is commenting on social, follow-ups, and inviting to events. So similarly, I would set it up week by week. And let me show you something as well that you can do here. Maybe you wanted to track like a week prior that you haven't put in yet. So this would be the week of May 29th. I'm going to add that, and you see how it's out of order. You can actually click this little arrow right here and move it to where you want it to be. So these are now in chronological order, right? With the most recent being here at the front. And then what you would do here is you would just add whatever it is. So if we are connect on social, right? And this we could do yes or no. Or we could say yes, Facebook post, comment, right? We can add text values here as well. If you have another one where we are invite to event, and we can say yes, or we can say how many times you invited, right? If it's 0 this week, but you did do one that week and not the other, we can add that. And then of course, when you save, you can see all of this information, right? AFT session progress. I love that, Paula. And I also think that what's really powerful here with tracking AFT, and especially where we start looking at how you can create something that's interactive, if you want them to be able to follow the progress that's happening over here, which right now we don't have this enabled. So if we say contact may view and edit and I save it, I'm over here inside of the vault, her vault. There we go. That's where this shows up, and she can actually go in and edit in this case. I think if you are as an AFT practitioner, you may or may not want to utilize the contact may edit. But one of the metrics that you may want to track is, actually any number of the metrics that you may want to track would be based on their goal in coming to you for AFT, right? So if they are wanting to decrease stress, then you would maybe have them do a log, daily, like a check-in daily. Maybe you have a favorite app for tracking something like this. A lot of the meditation apps, some of them free, will actually provide tracking of these types of things. Lots of cool stuff out there. Obviously, if you guys have something that is your favorite to have your customers or clients track these different metrics to share with you, then please be sure to share those here in the chat, but definitely take this conversation over to our Facebook group, to our GetOiling Facebook group, to share the wealth there with your ideas. But you may have them track their mood when they wake up. You may have them track just a daily check-in of, scale of 1 to 10, how stressed do I feel, et cetera. And those are the kinds of things that you can put here. And of course, if they are numbers, whether that's a scale or a percentage, you just want to make sure that you are using number here. Or if it's something that's word-based, you could obviously put that here as well. Let's see. Tina says, I like this, thinking I can track by month to see how many classes they come to and which topics they attend. Oh, yes. Great point. Great point. So you could say, you could put the actual name of the class here, or you could actually put, using text, you can name the class, right? So you held this class. Did they attend it? That's a great idea. Let's see. Allison wants to make sure daily she's connecting with 5, making an offer, following up, posting on social and in your member discussion group, and making a reel to show your face. So I actually think with what you're talking about here, and this isn't exactly verbatim, but a lot of what you're talking about here, Allison, is something that you achieve with your digital upline coach and GetOiling. So if you make sure that you have your hours set up correctly, it's going to be recommending that you are reaching out to a certain number of people on a daily or weekly basis. And of course, you could always go through and check those off as well. And you can go to your dashboard, and from your dashboard, you can go and see your items done, right? So you can actually go in and make sure that you have done all of the things that you said that you're doing, right? So yeah, the progress tracker is going to be something that's more related to a specific journey that has a specific end outcome. So absolutely with your prospecting, making sure that you are connecting with someone on an ongoing basis. You could set up something like this for that purpose. But where it comes to general metrics, if I want to make sure I'm reaching out to 5 a day, that's something that you can kind of calibrate the hours a week setting for your digital upline coach, and it'll make sure that it's suggesting that you reach out to that many people with things that you could do today. Okay, is this how we update our daily email tasks? So Karen, the daily email tasks are going to be, and that's something that, just so you guys know, the daily email tasks are something you can actually choose to receive over here under your general settings, and that's send me a daily email of activity and to-dos. Your system is going to send you that daily email based on your digital upline coach and the settings that you've placed on it, as well as your to-dos. Right. And this, your contact rating, right? So everything that has a to-do or you should probably reach out to somebody, which is going to be based on your contact ratings, these are the things that are going to show up. So if you want to modify how that shows up, just make sure that you have your digital upline coach set up for you, and that you can do that by just clicking this guy right here. And then, of course, any to-dos that you give yourself, if you're applying follow-up plans to contacts, those are going to populate these to-dos. And that's going to, of course, influence what you receive via email from us. Let's see, you can track their progress in a challenge. Tina, I love that. If you're running a challenge inside of a vault, they can go in and track their progress. I would even go so far as to say, if you are running a challenge in a vault, that you record a video showing someone how to update this information so that they can track in the same place that they are getting that content from you. I love that idea. That is such a great, great idea. Awesome. Allison said, I spend most of my time going through those to-dos and creating new ones. I love it. I love it. I love it. Just make sure you're taking good notes so you always know what to do next. Fantastic, you guys. Way to stay organized. This is great. All right. So there were a couple of questions I thought I saw, but our stealth team here has handled those quickly. Yeah, a tracker for new members, Cornelia. What you could do with a new member is you could actually yourself on their contact card set up those metrics initially. And I would actually do this. Really, it's for things that, in my opinion, this is something that's going to be best used for something that has, you know, maybe like a 90-day or less period of time that you're tracking, unless this is like just a monthly thing, right? A monthly maintenance. There are different ways you can use this, right? So if you are doing a tracker for a new member, and if you've gone through the marketing mastery workshop, then you know that we're aiming for, within the first 90 days of a customer getting started, them finding their hero product, right? And so so the tracker that you may want to set up for that person obviously is going to have metrics that are based on the goals they've shared with you before they even got started, right? It's going to include a space to say, you know, these are the products that I'm using this month. And you could even, you know, say, you know, how I'm using product, right? And they could type in diffusing lavender, taking 2 ounces of Ningxia, you know, sleep essence 30 minutes before bed or something like that, right? And they could actually put that in. And then again, where this really gets valuable, if you want to co-track and collaborate with your customers and clients, I really recommend having some kind of system that's easy for them to follow, where they can do a regular input to maybe average out certain metrics. And this is where you don't want to necessarily, like, we aren't the only resource for something like that, right? Like if it's a sleep tracker that's connected to a wearable device, then, you know, obviously use what's there, right? If they have an Apple Watch, it's going to be in the health app, right? Or a Fitbit. Fitbits do this as well. If you're doing something that is specifically related to metrics that are tracked by something like that. Others might be, maybe you're having them use a free meditation app that has a little check-in mood smiley face, right? And it can actually give you their data over time and they can report that. So I would definitely make sure, because what you do as a Young Living brand partner is not just tied to the fact that you could make money selling this stuff. It's because you've actually personally received a real transformation in using these products. And as a result, or maybe before that point, you are really passionate about not just these products, but the ways that these products can work to impact people's lives. And so make sure that you're really well versed in what those things are. So, really be passionate about, well, what does it take to get better sleep? What are some tools that are really great to use that maybe you can test out yourself? And if you love them, you can be recommending them. And then, of course, if they're also using those things with you, you can help them better. Ultimately, on this journey as a network marketing professional, what you are doing is growing yourself, turning around, reaching a hand out, and helping other people grow in the direction that you have as well, right? So why not carve the path that works for you and then show others how they can walk without having to cut the weeds along the way, right? So what are some other things that you guys are interested in tracking, or is there something that you would like to learn more about? We do have plenty of space here to work together on this call. If you want to talk through something, or if you'd like a review of some of your work, all you got to do is just pop your hand up and we can go through that here together. If you have other ideas about things that you may want to track, we could certainly take a look at that as well. This really is a very simple tool. Just make sure that you are really specific in what it is that you're trying to track so that you can get the greatest benefit from that snapshot of what you're seeing. So in that first example that I gave in the slides today, that is actually an example of how you can yourself track what's going on with one of your customers, but it's also a way, once you have your member area set up and your folks can go in and click their account, they can start to see how this stuff is actually working for them, right? If you can just make sure that you have a goal in mind that is shared with you and that you are going through together with your customer, they're going to be able to see that because I am taking sleep essence every night, and I've done that for the last 30 days, I've seen that this sleep quality that my Fitbit or my Apple Watch tracks, this is something that is actually improving my outcomes, right? Isn't that going to help somebody stick around? Aren't they going to be more interested in trying more products if this one worked that well, right? Okay, Jolene, can you show us again how a member would get into the member area and adjust and track their progress? Absolutely. So if we are, and I'm actually just going to go back over to the member area here, right? So this is Jane's member area. And if I click on my account, you can actually see my progress. Now, this is only going to show up here if you have enabled Contact Me View. And then, of course, this edit button will show up if you've selected Contact Me Edit. So that's basically it. If they are logged into your member area, they click My Account, and this is the same place where they can modify their email address, their phone number, their password, and of course, if they have the Attractwell app to access your Vault content, then they can manage their notifications here as well. Thanks for that question. Pretty easy, right? All right. Does anybody have any questions, or is there anything that you would like to go over together? Again, I know this is a pretty quick and easy topic, but we can explore more ways to use this. Jolene says, I may have already asked this, but is there a way to see who's using the app? Greg, what's the best way to do that?
I think, while you can't see exactly who is using it, you can see who has push notifications on, I believe. You can filter in the contact manager by, I think, who's opted in to push notifications, and I think that will show up, or app notifications.
Got you. So that's going to be filtering your contacts?
Yeah. Yep.
Here, let me actually, I wasn't sharing my screen here. So if you go into contacts, you go to filters, and under more filters, there is this
Yep,
option,
there's it. Opt it
right?
in, yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
if
I think.
so, we can filter for those. Voila.
Mhm.
There you go. Yep. Let's see. Cornelia says, I am creating a self-evaluation assessment with the values for people to find out which body system to support more. Is there a way to automate the result answer? So depending on how you have this set up, this is actually something I would probably recommend that you use a page for with forms. And that way, if they answer this, then they get this campaign, this tag, get redirected to this page that outlines this result. The thing is, and this is where it's just a tiny bit tricky, right? If because we don't really have like a scoring system or like a quiz functionality. It's definitely on our wish list, but it's not something that we have. This does sound like potentially something that would be an opportunity to embed a third-party quiz. And then from there, depending on what their score is, you could have that quiz platform redirect them to a page on your Attract Well site. Or it could give them the result, and then you have a page that has, if I am this, click here, if I am that, click here, and then those are automations on that page where they go off to deeper explanations for whatever that score is. Maybe they're then tagged and receive a campaign, etc. So that would be more of either a thing that you do in forms and you use that conditional response in the pages of forms. So let me just go find one here real quick. So if we go to our page settings here and we go to leads, you can actually have like a pick one, right? These here. And then of course, with the items that you add, you can apply automations, and that's where you would maybe automatically redirect them to a page with an explanation for their score because they gave you that answer. But it's not going to be able to provide something cumulative in terms of the data that they input. If you need something that's dialed in more in that way, I would use like a third-party quiz type app and then embed that in to a page on your GetOiling site. And we do have examples of that having been done in the past. So if you want to get in touch with our team, our concierge team specifically has built out funnels that incorporate that kind of thing using third-party quizzes if that's something that you want to get some help with. Tina says, would you mind looking at a web page I've been working on and offer some advice for how to improve it for that first impression? And you have a form attached to your page. Yes, absolutely, Tina. Here, I'll bring you out to chat. If you'd like, actually just raise your hand up if you are okay with coming out to chat, and I'll bring you out to talk if you'd like. Okay, perfect. Hey, come on out. Okay. This is cute. All right, we've got a little bit of a layout thing that we want to look at here. You see how our videos are kind of aligning off to the right there?
Can't see screen if you were sharing.
Oh, yep, thanks. That would be helpful. Okay. I really love how bold this is and the colors and how you've used this this fun, this is an image, it looks like, that you've used here in the background with the neon. It's really nice looking. This is what I'm talking about though. We do want to make sure that this is maybe modified so that it's centered more. You see that? Can you hear me, Tina?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. It looks like, is this an image? This is an image. Okay.
It is.
Okay. Oh, wow. Look at the gear. Look at this. Okay. So I actually, a couple of things. I would shrink this down just a bit so that this rev up wellness is just a little bit higher on the screen. And then I would have maybe a button up at the top as well. So if somebody is ready right now to take next steps, they can go straight to where they can purchase. That would really be like that first impression would be to shrink this section down a bit and then have this Rev Up Wellness. Maybe instead of being a background image on the section, having this just this text-based image being maybe centered, and then having a button right underneath it where they can get started if they want to right now. That's really the most important thing. Following that, I would definitely, let me see what happens when I kind of modify my screen size a little bit here. Yeah, I would definitely want to take a look at as well as at how you are aligning the video here inside of these sections, because you can see it's kind of cutting off over here on the right. I love that they're nice and big though. That's good. Good and easy to see. And this is so cute. I would recommend potentially as well, maybe adding some copy to the page that gives some context to what they'll learn in this video, and then in this video, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. And I don't know, let me see if I shrink this down. How do we do with the, okay. So this, it looks like, did you make this in Canva?
I did one of them and somebody else did the other one. I did the this one right here.
Got you. Yeah. So, I mean, if this is something that you're using for like, this is a right now thing, it's not something that you're going to be wanting to be discovered, you know, in 6 months or longer, using something like SEO, it's okay to use something like this. It is better, generally speaking, on your website for the long run to not use text in images. But I think for this purpose, it looks like you're kind of dual purposing a flyer for this, which is kind of awesome. So you could actually be using this in other places. And it looks nice here at like sort of mobile resolution. And it is also pretty okay at full size too. So, you know, if this is something that you're launching here soon and pretty quickly, I think that's a perfectly fine thing to have there. But yeah, the main thing would be to really kind of shrink this top section to have now taking application, starting this date, Rev Up Wellness, start now. And that start now button is going to need to be really the most important part of what they see first, because it's very likely that they're finding out about this thing because you told them to go there. And so if they're already ready, we don't want them to go and like feel like they need to read a bunch of stuff and watch a bunch of videos. They're going to go do it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, does that help?
Thank you.
Give you a little clarity? Okay. Thanks for coming out, and I hope that helped. Let me see. Allison says, where could emails go if they are showing delivered but not showing up? Colin and Pam have been emailing with me. I normally send a test email to myself and it works, but this month it's not showing up, but it says it's delivered. I've looked in spam and junk on my phone and there's no promotions folder in the mail app on iPhone. I mean, it could be, is it a Gmail account, Allison? Even if you don't see the promotions folder, if it's a Gmail account, it exists. Right? So it could be falling into a folder that you're not seeing. Yeah. So you do have Gmail. So I don't know that you can remove your promotions folder. I think that's just it's a function of Gmail. So it's possible that what you're seeing on your phone's mail app that you're using isn't necessarily reflecting all of the folders that are in fact a part of your Gmail account. So it could be that, or maybe double check on a browser, like log into Gmail on a desktop browser or something like that, and take a look and see if that's in fact where it might be showing up. But aside from that, I'm not really sure if there's another, like if it says it's delivered, like is there any reason why it wouldn't be delivered? Mail experts.
I mean, there is that sort of never land between when our mail server hands it over to the other provider, whoever the recipient email, and the inbox. So there are some cases where the recipient email server will just say, well, I'm not even going to put this in inbox or spam. So, I mean, that could be, I mean, I assume, this is something I assume we've been working with already if you've been in touch with somebody, but there's DNS records and whatever that we could probably help look into to see if there's something going along on those lines. Otherwise, there's a few other things we could do. There's like an IP address we could probably check into to see if there's issues with that. You probably have a custom mail server, so there's a few things that could be done if we haven't done that already for you. But yeah.
Okay, so should I try and change my Gmail to the hello email in my contact? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I think that the test here really, I mean, you're going to have Gmail users on your list, right? And you're kind of testing this to make sure that it's reaching them. So I don't think that changing the email address you're using is necessarily going to change what you're seeing there. If you maybe have like an additional Gmail account you want to try, I would just definitely recommend being not on your phone, because it's possible that like if your phone's not showing promotions as a folder and you're a Gmail user, it's going somewhere else, right? And you should definitely check on a screen inside of Gmail, like the web app, so that you can see if it is in fact in the promotions folder. And what you may also want to do, just in case, is if say like the subject line of the email that was sent, search that in your mail app, search that in Gmail, and look for maybe where that might have landed. Okay. Can you help me figure out how to shrink the video to the screen? Yes. I'm going to go and hop into your account here, Tina. And Jolene, I think, is working with you on this. Jolene, you said this is something we're working on to create a challenge and make it long-term evergreen. What would you suggest for allowing it to be seen for months from now? So the thing is this page will obviously be, I mean, you can share this page whenever you want and for as long as you want. But the way that having just text-based images like this, admittedly really good one here, the issue with having something like this on a page is that the algorithms and the scrapers, the bots, the crawlers, the stuff of the internet that makes things discoverable on search engines, they can't read these images. And so if you're using really important words that you want to be discovered by, then you're going to want to make sure that these are published on the page as text. And as of right now, this is really most of the text that's on the page. And this isn't enough for the scrapers to see that this is a web page that they may want to recommend to someone, right? So if SEO isn't a goal of yours with this page or a page like it, don't worry too much about what I just said. But as a general practice, when you're designing a page, it's a better idea to use text, even though it can be just a little bit trickier to modify and make mobile friendly and all that kind of stuff. If you are wanting to use something long term, it's going to be best to definitely make sure that this is something that you're actually designing in page sections instead of just uploading an image with text to a page. So I'm going to pop out of my share here so I can go and get into your account, Tina, and we'll go take a look at this together and maybe investigate what's going on with the placement of those videos. And I could show you guys as well some examples of how you might start creating some sections that replicate a little bit of what you've done with putting that flyer on the page as an image. All right, so the page, this is called Rev Up. Found it. All right, now I'm going to share. Okay, so like I mentioned before, shrinking this down just a bit, and even adjusting the padding here to reduce it a touch is going to be, I think, helpful to get this part to show up, right? The other thing that I would do here is, instead of having this image Rev Up Wellness like this, I would create this Rev Up Wellness in Canva and save it as a transparent background image file, right? And then I would go into a section, and I would create a new section, just this one column, no header will work. We're going to add the same image background as what you have used in Canva, which I'm not sure if you even have it in here, but this sort of tropical sunset kind of palm tree background, make that the background of this section. So that's where you click the pencil here and you give it that background image. And then here, this text, this is where we're going to put your image. So your Rev Up Wellness image is going to get centered right here. And I'm just going to pretend that this, oh, here we go. We'll use this. How about that? You do have a smaller one here. So I'm going to pop that in. And then we're actually going to give the background inside of that section that it sits on that color. And then we'll also be able to add the button in the same space. And I'm not sure what's going on with my browser here is being a little wonky today. Let's try this again. So basically what you're doing here is, because we don't have that sort of, neon glow font, quite as easily as you can make it in Canva. And it's the name of the program. It's not going to affect your SEO significantly. You can create this just Rev Up Wellness with a transparent background, create your new section, one column, no header, give it the same image background with these palm trees by clicking here. And then you're going to pop that Rev Up Wellness with the transparent background right here in the center. Which again, there we go. And then underneath it, and this would be, I don't know what that is. This would be a transparent background. So all we would see is Rev Up Wellness, none of this red here. That wouldn't be there. And then here underneath that image, we'll hit enter, we'll hit add element. And we'll pop in a nice button here. We will center that button. And then we'll say, this will maybe be the lead form. And we'll say, join now. Right? So when we update that, again, pretend that this is a, transparent background image right here. And then what we'll do is we'll go to the element styles. We'll click on this whole section that includes our button and our image with the text, right? And then we're going to give it a background color. We're going to show colors, use our eyedropper tool, and it's going to be that same background color that you're using, right? So again, we're going to just right here, select all of that, give it opacity, right? And so now you'll just have that Rev Up Wellness here. You'll have your button. You want to increase the padding just a little bit on the top and bottom. And then you would have that palm tree as the background image, right? And you could use additional copy here as well. Seats are filling up, join now, right? So that's my recommendations for that top part. I'm going to delete this, of course, because I'll let you do that. I don't want to mess up your page here. Okay, so now let's look at the content that we have here. So again, you see that these are sort of all aligned in sort of an interesting way. So what we'll want to do here is let's edit the element here, the element style, I think. Just going to do some investigating and see. We're going to reset that. Interesting. Reset. Okay, here we go. So we're resetting that to center. And I think those are okay. 100% auto. Okay, perfect. So this is good. Now what we'll want to do here with this is with this content, we're just going to go to edit our content. And we're going to highlight our section here. I don't know why this would be, any idea why this would like move so far to the left? I want to center this. Here we go. I'm going to select all and center and see how that helps. Huh. Okay, there's something else going on here. Any ideas, guys? It may be a different element that we need to zoom in on, perhaps.
Yeah, it looks like the video is bigger than the container that it's in somehow.
Uh-huh.
This
Okay.
would probably be where the advanced editor might come in handy to switch over
Yeah.
there
Yeah. Okay.
just for that one section. And it may be, I mean, probably the best thing to do, given that it's just that one video. I don't know if we have the URL for it or not, but the best thing to do would probably be like delete that section, make a new one, and then put the video in there. Then that
Yes.
would like be a reset, since there's really nothing else going on except maybe the background color. But there's definitely
Yeah.
something weird happening there.
Yeah. So let's take a quick look here at the code. Let's
Yeah,
see
you
what
could
if,
probably change the width down. It looks like it's got a fixed width in there somehow, of 800 or something. See what happens.
yeah. And the height, maybe auto.
That might not work, but you could try that.
Yeah, let's
You might have to
find
put a
out.
number in there.
Yeah. All right. Actually, let's auto both of them and then okay. So yeah, here's what we'll do. I want to copy this link and let's just create a new section, right? Sometimes when things just get a little weird and you don't know how to get them back to something that makes sense to you, just create a new section. So go back to the normal editor here. Let's just go and create a brand new section, one column, no header. Where did we go? Here it is. Okay, so in our content, oops, that's element editor. So in our content, we're going to go in here. Let's place our content first, and then we'll make everything pretty. Okay. So deleting our text, we are going to embed a video. And we're going to paste the link. Okay. And what you can do here is you can drag this to the fullest extent that it will drag in this section, right? You can do that. And that may have been a little too big. It is, right? So all you got to do is just go back here, select that video, and drag it back to, right? Because this is what it's going to look like. So are we good to go? We're good to go. All right, so that's centered. And then we just need to go into the background and let's just use our eyedropper to grab that same color from the previous one. All right, so with that done, you can then basically duplicate this now that we've got this back up to where we want it to be. It looks like we don't want this to show up on mobile, so we'll go ahead and X that out. I'm going to duplicate this. And then we're going to delete this previous one. And we will copy this video, edit the content in this one because we have two of the same, right? So you see where the yellow is kind of showing up there? That's where we're clicking. We're going to select the video, we'll delete it. And then of course we can add a new video and follow those same steps. If you want to, you can actually, if you want to preserve the exact same settings, go in here to your code viewer and you can just replace that YouTube link. Oh, and this was actually an embed code from YouTube, isn't it? Huh, okay, so maybe don't do that. So you would actually just use our embed tool, our video embed tool to add your new video there. Okay, so can you help me figure out how to shrink the video to the screen? So the video is actually, you can drag it just like this. If you want to modify how a video shows up, I want to say there are some tools in YouTube if you want to embed something, I'm pretty sure. So if we go to, we'll go to our GetOiling YouTube page. And let's go take a look at our most recent training before this one. We'll go to share and we want to embed. That's basically it. So you can, audio in my ears. So you can actually, you can see what the width and height they're going to be. If you want to modify that, you certainly can. If that's not something you're familiar with, really the best thing to do is what I showed you, to just kind of drag it to the width of the screen. And then you can, of course, see what these things will look like once you are in those sections, right? So you can actually modify the height and the width. A YouTube video, does anybody know offhand the resolution, like the standard resolution of a YouTube video?
I know it varies. It can, depending on the quality that you upload, but I mean, HD is what, 1920 by 1080, but it's usually too big to display on a typical screen. I think that's why, what is that? I'm trying to remember offhand. I have to Google it, but there's like a certain aspect ratio that's probably more important than the actual number, whether it's
Got you.
because it was like 1280 by 800 or something, what was in there. So something like that, but maybe scaled down a little bit more, which would have more screens.
Yeah. Okay. So what if we, can you put percentage in here? Could we say 100%?
I think width works for 100%. Height, you can't use percentage. You have to use another unit called like VH, which is a percentage, but you could do like 50 VH. Vertical height is what that stands for. So do like 50. You have to put a number before it.
Okay.
50 or 75 or whatever. But then, yeah, that'll be 50% of whatever the screen height is, which may or may not work. But the percent works.
Got you. Does auto work?
I don't think it does for frames.
Got you. But 100% does, right? But this does kind of create a really thin thing here. But we can actually change the section height, right? And that should, nope, that doesn't do it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So
embedded videos are tricky in that regard. Yeah.
And also with YouTube is particularly tricky with embedded videos. So if you are using your video editor in GetOiling, you're going to have, I think, a little bit of an easier time managing this. And if you're using Vimeo, if you're still using something like a Vimeo, they actually have a mobile responsive embed code, which I really like to use if you have Vimeo content, because it'll just automatically fill the screen with the way the code is written, and you don't have to worry about trying to modify code. Okay, so in terms of the design, you had mentioned shrinking the video to the screen. Tina, is there a particular sort of experience that you're wanting someone to have as they're scrolling through the page? I think that the main thing here to consider where you're including video content on what is essentially a sales page here is you want to provide some context as to why they might want to click and watch. And so in that case, it's actually better for you to have the copy on the page really jump out more so than the video, because the video is the thing that they do, the copy is the thing that tells them what to do. So in that case, you don't necessarily need full width. They can actually click the controls on the video and go full screen if they choose to. Right. And if they're on mobile, it's going to probably do that for them anyway. So I would actually, in lieu of trying to get really huge with your images, I would really encourage you to use some copy there to encourage them to watch the video, tell them why, because I think you have like 3 of them here, and you'll want to tell them why they should check that out. That would be the recommendation there. Okay. Are you able to connect that with the group 28 to Elevate? Yeah, so Allison, if you have the 28 to Elevate Vault from Grow Workspace, that's 100% the kind of place you could run a program like this. Absolutely. Awesome. And I think Allison may have a follow-up question probably for you, Greg, but maybe for Julie or Colin here in the Q&A.
Yeah, I actually replied to her on another one.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for all of your incredible questions. You're doing such impressive work. I hope to hear more about the metrics you're tracking, the results that you are helping your customers get, and of course, the results that you are getting for your business. We'll be back here same time next week. Get those convention tickets, get those tickets to Aroma Sharing. We hope to see you there in person. And I hope you guys have a great week and a great weekend. See you next week.